If you've ever tried to be more productive by pushing harder and somehow ended up doing less, if you've ever felt like the more pressure you're under, the harder it becomes to think clearly, and if you've ever noticed that your best work doesn't come from stress, but from a strange kind of calm, then this video is for you. Because what if productivity isn't about intensity at all? What if the real skill you've been missing is calm? We've been taught that productivity looks like urgency, pressure, focus under stress, deadlines, driving action. And to be fair, sometimes that does work. You can sprint, you can force it, you can get things done under pressure. But here's the problem. It's not repeatable. It's not sustainable. And over time, it starts to break you. Most people think productivity is about time management, discipline, motivation. But in my experience and in the work I do with people every day, that's not what determines whether you start or whether you focus or whether you follow through. What determines those things is your state. And this is the shift. Calm is not a personality trait. It's not something you either have or don't have. Calm is a biological state. And more importantly, it's a skill. Because when you're calm, your nervous system feels safe. Your thinking expands. Your attention stabilizes. You can prioritize. You can start. You can stay with things. But when you're under pressure, your brain shifts into protection mode. And now it's not asking what matters most. It's asking what reduces discomfort fastest. If you haven't seen my video on how stress actually drives procrastination, watch that next. It will make this make even more sense. It's in the pop-up banner up here and in the description. Under pressure, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning and decision making, starts to go offline. Your threat detection system ramps up, your thinking narrows, and suddenly starting feels harder, decisions feel heavier, and everything feels more urgent than it actually is. This is why you overthink, you avoid, you procrastinate. Not because you're lazy, but because your system isn't calm. So we've been chasing the wrong thing. We've been chasing motivation, discipline, intensity. But those things only work when your system already feels safe. Calm is what makes them possible. You've probably experienced this. You sit down to work and nothing flows. Everything feels heavy. Your mind jumps between tasks. You open tabs. You check your phone. You try to force it, but it just doesn't happen. Then later, maybe after a walk or a break or a moment where something shifts, you come back and suddenly you can think. You can focus. You can start. Same task, different state. Productivity didn't change. Your nervous system did. And this is where it gets important. If calm is a state, then it can be influenced. It can be trained. It can be built. And that means productivity is not about pushing harder. It's about learning how to return to calm. If you've ever felt like your brain just shuts down under pressure, this video up here in the pop-up banner will help you understand exactly why. It's linked in the description as well. When you build calm as a skill, you don't rely on pressure to start. You don't need urgency to focus. You don't burn out just to make progress. You become steady, consistent, repeatable. And that's what real momentum looks like. Not intense, not dramatic, just reliable. So how do you actually do this? Not in theory, but in real life. First, regulate before you act. Most people try to act their way into clarity. It doesn't work. You regulate first. So that might be slowing your breathing, stepping away for a moment, reducing stimulation, because action taken from stress creates more stress. Second, reduce the task. When something feels overwhelming, your brain interprets it as a threat. So instead of forcing it, you reduce it. So not, I'm going to finish this project, but I'm going to open the document and change one sentence. That's how you create a safe entry point. Third, remove consequence. Pressure often comes from what the task means. If I don't do this well, if I fail, if this isn't perfect, that's what makes starting feel unsafe. So you remove the meaning. You allow the action to just be an action. This is exactly what I've built into the momentum reset method, because once you understand that your problem isn't laziness, it isn't discipline, it's state, everything changes. If this is resonating with you and you want a clear step-by-step way to actually apply this to reduce overwhelm, to build calm, and to make momentum repeatable, I've linked the Momentum Reset method below. It walks you through exactly how to do this in a way that works with your brain, not against it. And here's the shift I want to leave you with. You don't need to become more intense. You don't need to push harder. You don't need more pressure. You need more calm, because calm is what allows you to think. Calm is what allows you to start. Calm is what allows you to continue. So next time you feel stuck, instead of asking, how do I force myself to do this? Rather ask, what would make this feel safe to start? That question alone can change everything. If you want to go deeper into this, watch this next video here, why stress makes you procrastinate. And if you're serious about building calm, focus, and momentum, I put together a full playlist, The Psychology of Procrastination. And if this helped you see things differently, subscribe to the channel, because this is exactly what this channel is about, helping you work with your brain, not against it.